What's going on, guys? My name is Rob, or Deviant Knight, and today I got some gameplay on my basement 4K with my one-shot Leatherface build, and pretty much this video is just going to be showcasing that. At the end, I will have my build for you guys, and this is just kind of a tips and tricks video, and also showcasing to the people who are newer or the ones who don't really like Bubba of how good he can be. So pretty much at the start, when you are playing Leatherface, you want to get started as quick as possible. The survivors, if you're going up against a very competent team, they're going to be playing fast, so you have to play fast as well. So what I like to do, especially on gas station, is get rid of these barricades as quick as possible, just so that I can get to the survivors as fast as I can. And then what you want to do is, once you get a little bit more map knowledge and know where the spawns are, you want to try and head towards one of those as fast as possible. That way you can try and catch people off guard. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I know that there's a spawn over here, and I know that this is where I would come as a survivor. So I catch two people early on. I get a couple hits on this Julie, I believe. And when you kill someone, if you kill them quick to where they don't escape, or they don't make up noise and wake up Grandpa, you yourself are going to wake them up by killing him. So once that happens, you want to make sure you have plenty of communication with your team and let them know that, hey, I killed someone. If you guys see anyone upstairs, let me know. Because how I play Bubba is that I do not go upstairs until I have confirmation from my team that, they have got out of the basement and they're running around up there. And then you always want to be checking doors, making sure they're still locked, and just keeping as much pressure down here as you can, because that is your job at the start of the game. It's just running around trying to find people as much as you can and just stop them from doing the objective, which is getting out of the basement to where they have so much more room to roam. You always want to be checking doors like I am right here, and just keeping that map pressure active. And you'll see, I see this door is locked, and then I come over here and see this door is locked. So I know the room to the left is kind of like a cutoff. So I break this down first, and I look to my left, and I see Connie's feet through the little crawl space. So I cut this down immediately. And if you're playing up against good survivors, they'll probably bolt out immediately. But I come over here and the door's still locked, so I go to cut it down, and you'll see that not only was the Connie behind here, but also was Sunny. So I'm kind of freaking out here, not sure where they went. I get a little turned around, but they kind of saved me here and made some noise so that I can go back and try and get back on them. And since their only way out was this way, I hit the Connie and stagger her. And then my very next hit is going to kill her immediately, because I have that 20% increased damage from Violent, which is very helpful for this build. And then I'll shut this door immediately. That way I can just kind of go back to trying to slow them down and hunt them down again. This entire time I'm communicating with my buddy who's playing Sissy right now, just making sure that there's no one upstairs. That way I can, try and stay down here and hunt them down. I catch this Leland, get a hit off on him, miss a little bit, and then you'll see that even with the amount of map knowledge I have, I'll get a little turnaround here. I don't really know where I'm at. I'm kind of, just shaky and freaking out a little bit, but that's probably the worst thing you can do. Just try and get your bearings, figure out where you're at, and then keep going. So ignore that. I'm a little dumb sometimes. I'm still at this point, I've watched this 3 times and don't know what I was doing. But as Bubba, you just want to try and keep that map pressure. And since I knew Leland went this way somewhere, that's just who I'm looking for. I'm trying to hunt him down and figure out where he went. That way I can find it. And then as I'm checking all these corners, you just want to keep your camera angle to where you're constantly moving. That way you can check all these corners. That's how I was able to see him and just catch him. And then here, as a Bubba, I was able to kill him because I swung early. As Bubba, if you're going up against survivors, you want to swing early, especially like on that Leland, because I was able to get that hit off before he stunned me. And then here, I see this last Sunny. I don't know what he was doing back in that corner, especially because he knew I was chasing Leland back there. I miss here. I'm still kind of freaking out because I'm like, oh my god, I don't want to mess this up. I swing once, and you can swing through those and doors sometimes. I've had it happen. He picks up the bottle, I don't know why, and that finishes off the 4K. So you just got to stay active as Bubba, especially once you start going up against stronger teams. Alright guys, it is me from the future, so here real quick I will just show you. I kind of did the calculations for it, so I have 111 total matches played, but 24 of those were survivor games, as you can see from my escapes and deaths. So I've played 87 matches, and almost all of them have been on Bubba, with 135 total kills, and that equals about 1.5 kills a game. And then here I will come and show you my build. So first off, I've seen a lot of people, they'll go this right path, middle path, and then go for the insta-saw. But in the gameplay, I never once had to reactivate my chainsaw, so I prefer going the left side. That way you have the reduced chance of overheating your chainsaw. That way you can be sprinting around the map the entire time. You can kind of do whatever you like. If you prefer the insta-saw, go for it. But I prefer this 30% reduced chance of overheat. Then for the build, I have Violent, which is 20% increased damage when carrying a full blood vial. And that is very important to getting those one-shot kills. And as Bubba, you do not want to be feeding Grandpa. The only time I ever do is if there's one guy left alive and we're just trying to get him to, get Grandpa to level 5. For my second one, I run 2-cycle charge. That way, when you're revving your chainsaw and you're not in that sprint, you will regenerate your stamina 60% faster. That way, you can just get right back on it. And for my last perk, I run Rough Cut, which is hitting a victim with the chainsaw causes 1 HP of extra damage per second for every 7 seconds. That way you can just guarantee that even if you do hit someone when you have, Violent activated and you hit them but they get away, they can still have that chance of bleeding out, which I've had. And then for my Grandpa perk, I run Brute Strength. That way you get slightly increased melee damage, and that'll just kind of cap it off a little bit to make sure you get those one-hit kills. I have 50 Savagery. I put 1 into Blood Harvesting, and then I have 50 Endurance as well. And then for the skill tree, if you're not sure which way to go, you go up the top path first, and that's where you'll get Rough Cut. You'll go up and take a left. When you get up this left path, you'll take another left, and you'll get your brute strength at the end, and right before this, you'll get your 2-cycle charge. And then for Violent, you are going to have to get it from a random perk, so just kind of try and reset your skill tree as much as you can so that you get Violent. This is probably the most important perk for this build. Alright guys, that was the build. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, leave comments. Feel free to ask them. Like I said, I don't have a whole lot of experience in this game. I'm level 23. I have 18 hours of playtime, but pretty much the only killer I've used is Leatherface. I started off a couple games and played with Johnny, but reset him, and since then I've pretty much only used Leatherface. And if you are a newer player and aren't sure how to use Leatherface, how he should be used, I hope this video helps you out a little bit on, a couple tips on what you could be doing different and help your game play out a bit. Or if you're one of those players who just didn't think Bubba was worth it, because that's the whole reason I started playing him to begin with, was people told me that he wasn't that good of a character and no one wanted to use him, but he's required. So I started him off, and once I found this build, it's just been completely different from what I've heard from everyone else, and it's became probably my favorite character to use. But thank you guys for watching the video. Like and subscribe if you like the content, and have a good night.